who's making ghee in my kitchen, and I'd go running in and then it'll be this, this cookie being baked, you know. When I turned vegan initially for the first couple of years, I was a very angry vegan. Vanilla sweetened curd rice with pickle is not it's a disgusting thing. Every single time it's different. You mix cashew with hemp and make milk, that tastes different. You do toasted nut milk, it's different. Untoasted one, it's different. Oh, if I'm stopping dairy, then why have any kind of milk? So I'll not have only. I think that's a rookie mistake because.
Hi and welcome to today's video. I'm Dr. Achyuthan, Eswar, the co-founder of nutritionscience.in and sampurnahara.com. Today we have a very special guest with us. Allow me to introduce Susmitha, one of my favorite people in this world. She's so full of positivity, full of joy. Like wherever she goes, everyone is going to start smiling and laughing in that room. Like guaranteed for sure. And she's such a lovely human being who has so much to talk about in so many aspects of holistic health. One of the difficulties that I had, Susmitha, with this talk was figuring out what to ask you to talk. so I asked you to decide. So I'm really looking forward to doing this with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Achyuthan. Such sweet words. And I have always liked collaborating, working with you. I've liked our conversation so much, and it's nice to be here talking to everybody. And thank you for saying my name correctly. That is something I appreciate a lot.
You taught me, no?
Yeah.
I practiced it.
Yes. My true friends say my name correctly. Susmitha.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Could I ask you to share a little about yourself with the audience?
Yeah, sure. My name is Susmitha. My brand is called Veganosaurus. I've been a passionate vegan for a couple of decades now, and it's been quite the journey. I'm a chef, a holistic healer, a business coach, and I run a podcast called The Feel Good Factor. I'm a multi-passionate. I do 100 other things, but I think that's relevant for now. I like to talk about veganism, living a holistic vegan life, and I'm excited for our talk today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it as much as I'm going to. Great. So Susmitha, can I ask you to start with sharing a little about your journey, how you started your vegan journey?
Sure. So I, like most, I was a vegetarian before I went vegan. Like most Indian vegetarians, it's more of a cultural thing. I was vegetarian because my family was vegetarian. Otherwise, I didn't really care so much to know more about things. I would consume a lot of dairy. I was one of those rare people who'd like plain milk, animal milk, and like, I can't even think of it now. It disgusts me. But I would drink a lot of milk. I would have egg only if it was hidden in cakes, If I don't know it's there, it's fine. Yeah. So I like the normal, the vegetarian kind of a life. Then I found out about the cruelties in the dairy industry. I had never thought of it. And it's very weird because in India, we see cows right in front of us, right? We see them tied up, we see the ropes through their noses, we see the babies away and them getting hit. I mean, we see so many things, but I'd never made the connection. I'd never, that dissonance was there. But a friend had turned vegan, and initially I was a very evil non-vegan. I'd be like, how can you, I would take cake and eat in front of him, and I'd be like, how can you live without this, blah, blah, blah. But after a point of time, it becomes, you can't ignore it. You get to know about it, you can't ignore it. And I decided, okay, fine. What to do? There's a big sacrifice. I have to give up everything and deprive myself. But it's okay, let me do this for the animals, because it didn't make sense to have dairy anymore. Except that once I went vegan, I started exploring. I'm like, okay, maybe I can make cake. I love chocolate cake. Maybe I can make curds, because South Indian curd, mosru, that's your comfort food. And then I'm like, what is this whole world? What I started making, I started eating, trying things which I hadn't imagined before. And my whole world, the whole cuisine opened up, and I'm like, how limited was my life as a non-vegan? Because there are things I wouldn't have tried otherwise. And it's not just the dishes from across the world, and of course our own Indian food, which is South India, most of it is anyway naturally vegan, but new ways of using ingredients. Who would have thought that you can make curds with peanuts, or milk with cashew? These things, they don't occur to you. Yeah, coconut milk is common, but otherwise it doesn't. It just blew my mind. And then I started experimenting more and more. And I didn't really enjoy cooking before I turned vegan. So I do it out of necessity. Like, okay, fine, I'm hungry, I'll eat, I'll cook something and I'll eat. But after going vegan, it became a passion. Cooking, baking, and then I started making my own cakes, cookies, breads. And like I said, it was a couple of decades ago, so there were no options for us. In the market there weren't. So I had to learn to make everything myself. And I'm so glad for that, because I wouldn't have learned to make all these amazing dairy alternatives and the big goodies and things if I had access to them so easily back then, right? So yeah, that's how the vegan journey began. And I remember the moment I decided I'm going to go vegan after a lot of resistance. At this one moment I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, this is happening. I was in denial that I'm like, it's not going to happen all the time, but I'm like, okay, this is happening. I'm going vegan. I could feel a shift in energy, like this sliding doors moment. Like, I could feel the shift, my world, the sense of expansion, like something is changing, something big is happening here. I didn't know what it was, but I knew it was going to be a huge shift in my life. And it turned out that way because everything that I have done since then, everything that I have been able to put out into the world, it's somewhere connected to me having turned vegan on that particular day. And then I became a chef, and I started my blog, my food blog. It was one of the first vegan food blogs in India. In 2007, I started posting on it, and whatever I'd experiment at home, I'd just post it on the blog. And I like to simplify things. I'm a lazy person. I don't like complicated stuff. So I would make recipes as simple as possible, as easy to make, with easily available ingredients, whatever is accessible. And I heard people, like people who tell me that, looking at your recipes made me realize that, yeah, I can also do this. I can be vegan and it's easy to be vegan. And I think it was a couple of years later, 2009, that I got to know about whole food plant-based. I had no idea about it until then. And then we had attended this event with Dr. Neil Bernard and Dr. Nanta, and it was a 3-day event, and they did all these recipes, cooking, which is not new to you because you all do like these amazing array of dishes with Sampurna Hara and everything. But back then it was like mind-blowing for me. And I'm like, oh, you can cook without oil? How cool is that? And, oil-free tadka to do that. So at home, my husband and I are vegan. We do indulge in any kind of vegan food, but for the most part, we eat whole food plant-based simply because it's not necessary to use oil. It's not necessary to use sugar and jaggery and things. And it's easy to clean up. Right?
You see these ads where you have one soap moving through and magically getting clean. That actually happens in our homes because there's no oil.
Yeah, it's super easy. And this is about my vegan journey so far.
Lovely. From not being interested in cooking to being a fantastic vegan chef. Wow, that's a journey that has gone really from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Yeah. And there's still more to unfold. I can feel it. For years, I ran India's first vegan restaurant, Carrots. We closed it during the pandemic, but all those years of running the restaurant was quite an experience because I met so many interesting people. The community aspect of it was amazing. I met you because of the restaurant, right? So it has changed my life in a very, very big way.
Lovely. That's so good to hear, Susmitha. Start aligning ourselves to nature, to the universe. Things slowly start unfolding.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
I'm curious. You said Mosranna, and I guess that's like the biggest problem that biggest problem I faced. Curds with sugar, Susmitha, was my go-to snack before I went vegan. Every day I'd come back from college, and I'd take like a cup of curds, put 6 heaped spoons of sugar in it, and that's my Like that's my snack for the evening.
Oh God.
Don't ask. That is my snack for the evening. And then from there, when I went vegan first. I watched Earthlings, and I
Okay.
couldn't sleep that night. I cried all night. The next day, I decided that I'm not going to consume any animal products again.
You were also vegetarian, no?
I was
Before that?
vegetarian. And then I learned about the health benefits of a whole food plant-based diet, and today I'm a plant-based doctor.
Yeah.
But for many months, like a year or two, I just didn't have milk and curds and paneer and ghee and butter. I just didn't eat them. And then slowly, one by one, we started experimenting and figuring out how to make this milk and curds. So it was interesting because I didn't know that like peanut curds and all are a thing and it exists. Chumma, we tried something at home. I got this idea and I made it. And then, like a few months later, we went on the internet and figured out, oh, there are people who already done it. We thought it was some great idea had come out of nowhere.
That actually proves, right? You're tapping into the universe conscious. It's the ideas coming to everyone from up there. You've tapped into the source and got it.
Absolutely. And that was the tough part. No, yes, we knew that consuming curds was unethical, unhealthy, etc. But how do you eat a meal without curd rice? You've grown up your entire life eating it. You know? So, could you share a little about that particular problem when people are vegetarian, non-vegetarian? If you're born in India, in South India especially, curd rice is curd rice.
Yeah.
So, what do you do when you're trying to go vegan or trying to eat a plant-based diet and you're missing your curd rice? What do you say?
So I didn't allow myself to miss it I almost immediately after going vegan, I started exploring for curds. And back then only soy milk existed. Like all the other plant milks, I wasn't aware of them. I was living in the US at that point of time. So there was packaged soy curd available. But I'll tell you, okay? So the first time I went and I found this soy thing curd and I'm like, oh cool, and there was some blueberry, strawberry flavor, something. This looked plain. I picked it up and came and happily mixed rice, everything. With pickle, I'll tell you a second. Vanilla sweetened curd rice with pickle is not it's a disgusting thing. And I like to experiment with food. I like to experiment with flavors. But vanilla curd rice is it was sweet, and anyway, it was a lesson learned. So then I realized, okay, let me just start making my own curds, and I started making soy milk at home by then. So I was setting curds with that. I got the packaged curd, used that as a starter and set it. And I would make curd. Constantly we would have soy milk and soy curd at home. And soy curds come out very well because the soy has a protein content, right? Which is not, I mean, peanut is there, but still peanut has more fat. But soy doesn't have that kind of fat. So the curds set beautifully. It comes out so well in those little cups. If you set it, it'll like set like an island. It's so good. So for years I managed that, was very happy with it. It was only, a couple of years later, once we returned here, that again through somebody like this online, when somebody said peanut curd, and I was like, my eyes lit up. I was like, oh, this is something I have to try. And ever since I started making peanut curd, that's what I've stuck to most of the time because it's the easiest to make. And of course, like I said, the shortcuts for me, so I don't do the soaking method. So a lot of people soak peanuts overnight, wash them, then grind all that. I toast my peanuts. So then they are already partially cooked. And once that's done, I grind it into a butter and then add water, make it into milk, cook it for a while. And it needs lesser cooking than the soaked one because the raw smell goes off easily. Then I set it into curds. So, it's quite easy, and this dairy alternatives, it's such a wonder. And I don't know, I feel like if you haven't tried making dairy alternatives, you're depriving yourself of these amazing experiences. It's like having a little science lab in your kitchen, like, okay, mix. It's not even like one kind of milk or one kind of curd. Now, almost every nut and seed, most grains, everything can be made into milk and curd and stuff, right? And then there are the combinations. So every every single time it's different. You mix cashew with hemp and make milk, that tastes different. You do toasted nut milk, it's different. Untoasted one, it's different. It's so good. All these years, I still keep experimenting. I still keep finding new ways to make curds and milk. It's mind blowing, you know.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I keep telling people before turning vegan, I used to have one type of milk, cow's milk. After turning vegan, I have to now choose between 20 types, and that's the problem.
And 20 is just a basic,
I
you know,
know.
like.
I know there are like permutations and combinations and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. Yeah.
It's a true revelation, you know, to show that going plant-based is definitely not a deprivation. Like that mindset, you know, it's definitely not that. I would like to say though, the thing is when many people, not everybody, many people when they decide, okay, I'm going to go vegan now and I want to have dairy alternatives, they ask like which curd or which milk tastes closest to dairy. And I like to say that don't look for something that tastes closest to dairy. You know why? It's gross. You know, in fact, I'll tell you, I make cashew milk for my tea. And cashew milk, if you have it plain, it does have a very, you know, it leaves that coating and that aftertaste, you know, kind of close to that. And it's not even nice. So look for what you like, because you have so many combinations now. You don't have to restrict yourself to what tastes close to dairy. Instead, you decide what tastes best with what dish, what goes well with payasam, what is good with pasta, what is good with, you know, curd rice. All these things are South Indian. You know, try these different things, and then you can do this combination for this dish, that for this dish. It's easy.
Nice. That's such a nice insight. Don't look at what can replace what already exists, but look at what you like.
Yeah. Vegan food is a cuisine in its own right. So treat it that way.
Lovely. So nice. So you spoke about curds. We spoke about the soya curds. We spoke about peanut curds. There is also paneer, ghee, butter and milk. Like, these are the four big ones, right? How do you replace all of these at home? Is it only the packaged ones with all the preservatives, or?
No. See, packaged ones are fine for, say, you're traveling somewhere, you don't have access to a kitchen. Once in a while, indulge, it's okay. But otherwise, make your own. This is something, it's like when people say, what are the 3 things, you know, when somebody is going vegan, what are the 3 top tips you give them? Well, first, like, learn to cook. Learn to make your own dairy alternatives. You don't want to depend on outside options, because you don't know, you may like this brand the way it tastes, you may not like that one, and then it's not just for you, you're okay, because see, dairy, as we all know, has addictive casomorphine, so we all get hooked to it. And you know what you were saying about can't live without curd rice? That was the case in the dairy version of me. But when I started having vegan curds, I don't feel the craving to have it every day. There is no dependency anymore. So you don't have to have it, you don't have to replace it. But yeah, sure, enjoy. Why don't you? If you want to, and if you can, then go ahead. Learning to make your own dairy alternatives means you know exactly what's going into it. It's just cashew milk is 2 ingredients, cashew, water. That's it. It's not some oil, some additive, some whatever. And it's not just that, okay? Even if you're like, okay, chalo, I'll have preservative sometime, I will drink yummy, no problem. Even if you say that also, they put only 2%, 3% cashew in that, or almond in that whole package of milk, which is some $300. So these are the things that set this wrong impression that veganism, being, you know, plant-based, being vegan is expensive. It's not. When you make your own plant-based milks at home, and of course curds with those, often depending on what ingredients you use, it is even cheaper than dairy. You know, more affordable than dairy. And of course, again, dairy also, you don't know what is in it, where it's coming from, all that. Even if you, first of all, the ethics of it is the biggest thing, but even if you say, you know, keep that aside, ignore the ethics, and also, there's so much rubbish mixed into dairy, and by the time it reaches, you just make your own, no 2 minutes it takes. Right? Milk is the easiest to replace because you have all these nut seeds, varieties, depending on how much time you have. Sometimes you can soak the nuts and make it, sometimes you can toast it, sometimes you can just directly use it. Depending on the different ingredients, it changes. Curd is the next step. First, you have to get a vegan starter. Either buy vegan curds, or You can make starters very easily at home. Like you have urad dal, you put it in water and soak it overnight. That water is a starter. It's the same bacteria, same good bacteria, friendly bacteria that are going to culture it, right? So you can make curds. When it comes to butter and ghee, that is where and paneer as tofu, that's like an easy replacement, right? But butter and ghee are a little bit more tricky. And for both these, though, yes, now we have in India also, we have good alternatives for butter and ghee commercially. But it comes back to commercial dependency, what you may or may not have mixed in it, you may or may not like the taste. So I feel like with butter and ghee, it's better to not look for ghee to ghee replacement, but while you're cooking, try to emulate that taste with whatever you're making. For example, if you toast cashews lightly, powder them, and then add that to the payasam, that gives a ghee flavor. Coconut gives such a rich flavor. We used to make these coconut jaggery jowar cookies at Carrots. In fact, jaggery no oil though, and there were times in the beginning where I'd be like, who's making ghee in my kitchen? And I'd go running in and then it'll be this, this cookie being baked, So there is a lot. And again, once you stop having the dairy one, you won't feel the need for it. Same with butter. You toast bread, you put a little bit of nut butter and salt. That is going to give you that buttery feel, that satisfaction. All these are great transition foods. So you can experiment and try different things with them. Yeah.
So easy, it's so simple, it's not complicated.
No.
It's not expensive, it's not out of this world. They're all ingredients that we know. And it's just one step of doing it once, see what it's like. Maybe do it 2-3 times to get the hang of it.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's a breeze.
It is. Yeah. It is.
How has it been for you?
I mean, it's been fun to experiment, but more than me making it, when I teach, so I teach people vegan cooking, baking and all that. I do a lot more of it when I had a physical place to do it at the restaurant, but now I have an online dairy alternatives class also, which people can sign up for. It's a one-to-one thing. I send them what to prep in advance, what to soak and all that, measure and keep. And then during the session, I tell them mix this, grind this, and they do it. So, it's been amazing to teach, because every single time I'm reliving that wonder of discovering that when we had the physical classes at the restaurant, we'd have like these 5-10 students sitting there, and then I'd make almond milk and then pour it like this, and people would be like, that's all. It's as easy as they would imagine. See, after seeing it in a Tetra Pak, you'd think that it has so much process to it. And they would be mind blown. And every time somebody is like, all the faces would be like, shocked. And then I'd be like so happy, living that excitement again and again, the wonder of it. So the dairy alternatives journey has been really nice. And the most interesting, like I said, the lack of dependency on it, the not needing it is beautiful. But that being said, I know people, Achyuthan, who go like, oh, if I'm stopping dairy, then why have any kind of milk? So I'll not have only. I think that's a rookie mistake, because it's not just about you. Great, you don't want to have it. But then there are people around you. You're doing this for ethics, you're doing it for health, for whatever reason, you're doing it for something good. And you want other people to understand that it's normal, it's easy. So you need to have a lot of all these foods, alternatives, so that people can see. I'm always, if I go to a relative's house and I like to make, like if I make, I can easily ask for black coffee or tea or herbal tea, green tea, all those things. But then I like to make, masala chai with cashew milk and feed everybody. Like in their kitchen, I'll go in, auntie, I will make and then make it and feed everybody. So I feel like it's up to you how you represent it, represent your lifestyle. You can make it seem like, oh, it's a sacrifice, it's difficult, and I'm doing this for something. You can be all sanctimonious, but nobody is getting anywhere. Nothing can be achieved that way. Or you can show how freaking awesome and cool it is. I call it like, your Tom Sawyer thing, right? Like he made them think that it's so cool to paint, and gosh, that is how I do with veganism, vegan food.
Lovely. So interesting to see all the different approaches, the new insight. It's all things that we know, we've talked about, but when you put it the way you do, makes it so much more interesting. So, Susmitha, you told me about so many different alternatives, and we've enjoyed all of these for the last few years. And I think after a point, after drinking like few thousand liters of vegan milks, you come, you come to realize that okay, maybe I just don't need it anymore. I don't have that need to drink the milk, or it's okay without the curd rice. What's there? There's so much more delicious food. And then you really start exploring all the different aspects of a non-violent lifestyle.
Yeah.
Both non-violence to others and to yourself. And you talk a lot about that in your podcast, in the Feel Good podcast. Could you tell us a little more about that aspect of your work?
Yeah, sure. My podcast, it's called The Feel Good Factor. And it's not necessarily about veganism, but veganism keeps coming into it often because there is a direct link there between the food that you eat, the choices that you make, and the way that you feel. I'm a very spiritual person, and I feel, everything has energy, right? Everything has energy. And then if something is coming from a mother and a baby being separated, and then, milk being taken, repeatedly impregnating the cow, and all these emotions and pain and trauma, and then you're drinking liquid trauma, So I feel like when I stopped having dairy, again, I didn't know this is going to be it's the same way with the health also. I found out about the health benefits later. I'm like, oh, why am I not getting sick? Why am I not getting a cold? And I'm like, oh, it's because I stopped dairy. I kind of made the link a year later. Same way with the spirituality, with emotions, with everything. I felt like, so I've been practicing Reiki and meditation for many years. And I feel like from my pre-vegan days to post-vegan days, there's a stark difference in the way I'm able to, when I sit down to meditate, I'm able to flow, faster. I'm not saying that just because you're not vegan, you won't be able to. There are plenty of people who are spiritual and not vegan. But I feel like this smoothens out the process, makes it so much easier. You don't have to struggle to reach a certain point. Don't have to put, you can put like half the amount of effort into it. It comes so effortlessly. And same way with the Reiki, the way the energy flows, I feel like it's just so much smoother, in, the way it goes. So I feel like what we put into our bodies, particularly when it comes to the pain of another living being, I think it makes a world of difference in how we feel energetically, emotionally. All of that, there is a connection. And it's still something you keep on learning, Achyuthan. Like, there is no end to it. Spirituality is like something you just go deeper, 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 deeper. But so far, the more I study anything, say if I'm studying the Gita, the more you go into that, you realize that, yeah, this makes sense only. It's good that you're vegan. It only helps, the more deeper you go into spirituality, it only helps you become a more, when I turned vegan initially for the first couple of years, I was a very angry vegan. Because you see that, there's so much cruelty happening, and it made so much sense to you that you went vegan. Why isn't everybody else around you understanding? Why are they being resistant? Why are they holding on to their dissonance? And makes you very, very angry at first. But then again, with the spirituality, as you keep going further with the practice, you realize that, you shine your light. You show that, okay, this is a beautiful way to live. And you go from the inside out. Don't go trying to make everybody, force everybody. The right people will come to you. The ones who have to change will come to you. And it's again beautiful. I feel like, okay, it's like feeding into each other. Because you become a better magnet, like, the law of attraction, the way the universe works. You become a better magnet as you're going deeper into spirituality. And then being vegan helps you become better with spirituality. And then being spiritual helps you be a better vegan and, better activist, more compassionate towards yourself, towards others, towards everybody. And you said that, no, being compassionate and kind towards yourself and others. And it's important to equally remember the two things. So when you care about your health, your well-being, I don't mean in an obsessive way, like, oh, I let me count calories, macro, not that way, but having a very joyful, good, loving relationship with food. Then the more you do that, the more you start naturally choosing things that are good for you. You become more aware of how each food makes you feel, and then you go with the flow of that, right? So I think it all goes hand in hand. All these conscious things, they all come together, and it's the way of the future.
That's so lovely. There are so many beautiful lessons hidden in our scriptures, hidden in spiritual discourses, hidden within our own mind, our own thoughts. When we adopt ahimsa, in fact, that's the first step of yoga. When you see Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, the 8 limbs of yoga, the first one is yamas. And among the yamas, the first one is ahimsa. You start there. That's like the first step. And then you build upon and you go so much further. And there's so much that you can experience that was never there before. Once you stop consuming animal foods, once you stop consuming any kind of animal products, that gives you a sense of freedom. It makes you feel good about yourself, makes you feel good that you're not causing any harm to any other beings. And there's also, I guess, in the beginning, that little bit of guilt that comes with, gosh, what have I done my whole life? And then slowly with time, you learn to accept it. Okay, can't do anything about it now, but I can do something about what I'm going to eat today.
Yeah.
And then you start making those changes.
When you said the guilt thing, it also so I'm not studied much about mental health, but what I can say is this dissonance that exists in all of us. We know somewhere, so especially when you see people resistant when you talk about going plant-based, going vegan, not hurting animals, not exploiting them. The more somebody resists, that there is that inner guilt, there is a strong resistance for that reason. People who don't feel guilty don't resist, like, you do your thing, I'll do mine. But so living with that dissonance and trying to ignore what you're doing, that affects and how much of mental energy are you spending on being in denial, and you're free from that. Once you decide, okay, I'm not going to support this anymore, I'm not going to support cruelty to the maximum extent possible, then you're not spending mental energy trying to justify it to yourself and to others. It's like, such a relief, right?
So true. And Susmitha, once you make the change, I've had many people share this with me, especially activists, especially people who are active on social media, people who have a larger social circle, a lot of friends, a lot of family. After you start eating plant-based or going vegan, there is a lot of extra stressful situations that you start facing in life. When you see others who are, say, drinking a glass of milk or eating something with meat or an egg, or an image of it on social media, or a movie that has a scene of some animal being killed, and that causes so much of stress. While you may have done the same thing yourself before and not really experienced much, but now it causes a lot of pain in your mind. And to some people, they say, this is overwhelming for me. What do I do? I'm not able to handle it. What's your
Which is, I understand that. But for that, we have to come back to say, I like it when, like I say, when you're vegan, learn cooking, I also say get a little bit more into spirituality, because that is what is going to protect you through this. When you're regularly going inwards, when you're meditating, connecting with the universal energy, you feel a oneness. Now see, already you've gone vegan, you are already connecting, you're feeling a oneness with all of nature, whether consciously or unconsciously, like this energy. Now we need to feel a oneness with the non-vegans too. Everybody, we need to feel that, and accepting that we cannot change everybody, and the more we spend time um, exposing ourselves to information which is related to the cruelty, or the more we exposing ourselves to the more we expose ourselves to people who are argumentative or resistance, being in these forums and these groups and then just fighting, that just drains your energy. And that is not fair to you, but it's not fair to the world also, because there's so much positive work you can do when you save your energy, when you protect it. And for this, I always tell people, see, you already know, you've gone vegan, you're an activist, wonderful job you're doing, spreading the message, but you already know about the cruelty. Why do you have to go and watch every documentary that comes, which shows, this killing, that killing? Why it's so painful? Why do you have to subject yourself to that? One is that. And the second is, if somebody, yes, you go talk to people, explain things, when the opportunity presents itself. And yes, vegans, we create opportunity. The cliche exists for a reason. How do you know someone's vegan? Don't worry, they'll tell you it exists for a reason. But you need to understand who is actually curious and responsive and asking you the questions, and who is fighting against it. And use humor. It is your best thing. Not humor in a way that you're putting somebody down, but just making everybody laugh, making things light instead of like being very serious about it. That helps everybody involved. And if you see that something is not, like if a conversation with someone is not leading somewhere, you don't have to prove anything, you don't have to prove you're right, just step away, walk away from it. And this is where we have to have selective dissonance. We have to develop this. There are friends and family, people we love who are not vegan, or who may be in fact directly supporting animal cruelty in some way, but that doesn't mean they're bad people. You love them a lot, right? And in fact, there may be some person who's vegan who you can't stand, but somebody who's non-vegan, you really connect with them, associate. So you need to look at things holistically, and you live the best life. You be the best example, right? By living this amazing life, that people should look at you and be like, okay, I have to at least try it. You be that way, and avoid getting sucked into your energy is not worth going there. Look at what you're good at. I feel like activism takes many forms, right? Your activism is in helping people with health and healing. My activism is food activism. Somebody else, yeah, it can be street activism, but it takes many different forms. Whatever you're best at, we all have gifts, skills, talents that have been given to us. Use it to the best of your ability, and spread the light. Somewhere in the middle, yes, there will be a need to show that, okay, this is happening in the dairy industry. Somewhere once in a while, if you need to show that, fine, but don't keep on posting only all these cruelty pictures, images, this, that. Then you will be preaching to the choir, because only people who agree with you are going to be following you, are going to be looking at your posts. So you need to look at it a lot more holistically, step away. It's not about you or me. There is no I here. What are you doing as a being on this earth to uplift the world? Make the universe a better place. Just channeling that energy through you. You're only a conduit. So there is no I can convert this person, I need to prove my point. There is no that. Just let go of that. Then you'll be more happy, more joyful, and find a support group. Find like-minded vegans, like not just other vegans or not just other whole food plant-based people, but like-minded people who you share other interests with, other ways of thinking with, so that it becomes very normalized. In a way of life, it's not like if a bunch of vegans meet, it shouldn't be that we're all sitting only talking about veganism. That should be that, okay, that has brought us together, but it's just one thing. We are interested in these movies or these board games and these things. You spend that kind of holistic time with people, you will feel much more, you'll find it easier to live in a non-vegan world or a pre-vegan world.
Such a nice perspective. Every other statement you make is giving such a nice new perspective of the whole thing. So lovely speaking with you, Susmitha.
Thanks, Achyuthan.
Absolutely. And I'd like to ask, is there anything else you'd like to share for people who are just starting off on this journey, still curious about it, not yet tried anything, just watching this video for the first time, hearing the words veganism, hearing the words dairy alternatives, cashew milk, soya curds, anything you would like to share with them, some words of motivation,
Sure.
perhaps an incident or a story of one of your clients or from your life that might be inspiring for them.
Okay, one particular incident I will share. So we have these monthly Bengaluru vegan potlucks. Right? It's been going on for I don't know, since 2009-10. It's been going on for a long time. Last Saturday of every month, no matter what, we meet at Cubbon Park, and Cubbon Park has and we have potluck spirits protecting us. By the way, it doesn't rain during the potluck, no matter what season. Twice in all these years, it has rained, and then by the time we've settled in, it has stopped. Like drizzle, we've had like drizzle eating twice. Other than that, no. The other thing, there were all these rules that were hyped up about you can't go out in Cubbon Park, eat this, that. We said, and we went last month. We sat, not a soul came and questioned us. We clean up after ourselves. You won't even know we are there. We first of all ask people not to bring their disposables, bring your own plates, glasses from home. So like this in one of the potlucks, there was a time in the middle where we used to do it at this place called Jaga, in the middle for a while. It used to be on Double Road long ago. So there was this other event happening, and this one guy had come to the event. So he was curious what's happening with the potluck, and he came to see what we were doing. And then we were like, come, vegan, this is the food, have all those things. And apparently, this is something I tell people. Everybody has different ways of transitioning, but I always encourage people, you say you'll do this for 1 month and then do it strictly. Don't say, okay, I'll slowly leave this, slowly leave that, because then those addictive substances need to get out of it's a slippery slope. It works for many people, but I know that being strictly doing this for a month works very, very successfully, because then one is you're removing those toxins from your body, right? All the casomorphins and all, so that those cravings and all kind of slowly dissipate. Then the second thing that happens is you see that, I can have this alternative, that alternative, these are the options, because you are strictly doing it for a month. 3, you start reading ingredients. Everybody should be reading ingredients. So then that brings up your... So then you become very used to that, and then you stick to it as what. And I also say you're doing it only for a month, because everybody is afraid of lifelong commitments, of a change, a big change, lifestyle change. Even I was afraid before I decided. It took me months to go vegan because of this, right? So apparently I told this guy that, okay, try this for a month and see, then you decide. So he went vegan for a month. He realized it's easy to do it. He became vegan, Achyuthan. And then his whole life also trajectory changed. He went to, Sadhana forest, right, in Auroville. He went there, he was living there long term and being a big time, like a big major part of it. He met his wife there. I mean, his whole life trajectory was because he turned vegan. And he one time when we're talking, he's like, Susmitha, you just told 1 month go vegan and try it. That's why I tried it, and I was like, whoa, you never know where. So I feel like for many people, it's a life-changing trajectory. I'm sure those of you who are watching who are vegans are probably like, yes, true. I became this, that because I went vegan. So try it, just try it for a month, but do it with dedication. Treat it like you're going on an adventure holiday somewhere, that kind of a mindset. You're in a different country, different food, different everything. Try it out and enjoy it. Think that it's temporary. It's okay to trick yourself into thinking that way. Once you realize the benefits, you'll stick to it. It's not difficult at all. So yeah, this is the main thing, the incident and the thing I want to share. And I also want to share with people who are starting this, like I already said, try making your own dairy alternatives, cook your own food, and also start looking at the world through the lens, especially food, because that's the biggest thing, but also the rest of, your lifestyle and everything through the lens of veganism, in the sense of, you'll start noticing that you're already, so much of what you eat is already vegan. So much of what you use is already vegan. So you start realizing that, and it's like, oh, cool. There are people who would come to my restaurant sometimes, and they're like, "This is my first vegan meal," and I'm like, "Oh, hospitality!" I cannot laugh at their faces. So I just smile wide, and I'm like, "Did you eat do you eat idli, dosa, puri, chapati, whatever, bisibele baat, pongal? That's all vegan, man." And like, oh. Or somebody says, "I'm a pure non-vegetarian." I'm like, you can't be a pure non-vegetarian. Everything that makes your so-called meat tasty is the vegetarian stuff, the masalas and the spices. So you start realizing that already most of what you're consuming is vegan. Few alternatives here and there. A little bit of a support group you form. It's huge in India now. Even maybe 10-12 years ago, Achyuthan, we were maybe I don't know, I could count on my fingers and toes how many vegans we were all across the country. We'd all know each other. Some random vegan here or there, Now thousands upon thousands, so many people are changing. I particularly have seen a huge shift post-COVID.
Post-COVID.
Yeah, people are looking at health, looking at their lifestyle choices, looking at what they're doing to the earth. And it has helped not just shift people into being vegan, whole food, plant-based, all these things, but also businesses. So many small vegan businesses have started. And Bangalore, as you know, is a fantastic, the ecosystem is amazing. We all have great relationships with each other. So that's important. Form a community, be a good part of the community and help everybody out. So because we are doing this for the movement, right? And I believe what we saw in Bangalore, I thought everybody is like that only. I've gone to other cities and seen vegan businesses competing, all this. Like, what? I didn't think that exists, because here everybody is so amazing to each other. There was a new vegan business, I don't remember which one, which started somewhere in the middle of COVID. And then on Instagram, all the stories I was seeing about the business were from other vegan businesses. It becomes incestuous. Everybody buying from each other. The community is amazing. So be a part of the community in your city and be a positive part of it. It's up to you to show people that if you start, say, a vegan venture, business, whatever, which you probably are going to do once you go into this because you want to contribute to the world in some way, it's up to you to show people that you can be open, supportive, you can just be there and generous to everybody around you, and that's only for everybody's highest good. Learn to do that in whatever way you can. Whether you're going to start a vegan, like a blog or whatever, if you're doing this, you are going to start something. So I want to preempt it and say that be a good part of the ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Susmitha. So many beautiful perspectives, so many inspiring things that you shared with us today. I'm sure they'll be useful for you. I'm sure they'll be useful for so many people who watch this video. It really means a lot that you took time off. I know you have a very hectic week. This week and next week
coming up. Yeah, I'm so glad today I was able to, it worked out well, perfectly, awesome. Today's timing. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you, Achyuthan. And, if anybody wants help, any guidance, you want to get in touch with me, go to my website, Veganosaurus.com. That is Veganosaurus.com. And I have multiple ways to reach out to me. And if you're looking for particularly something uplifting to listen to, then listen to my podcast, The Feel Good Factor. It's on all apps, podcast apps.
Awesome. And you'll find all the links to Susmitha's website and podcast, your dairy alternatives course. You'll find all of these links in the description of this video. You can check it out there. You can click on it and go visit Veganosaurus.com, the Feel Good Factor podcast. And you're on Instagram?
I am on Instagram, but as a part of being healthy, having a healthy relationship with Instagram, I don't spend much time on it. It is Veganosaurus. I'm Veganosaurus. But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So do check out her website and her pages. And I hope you find them useful. I'm sure you will. And is there anything else you'd like to share? Anything we missed discussing or talking about?
No, we can talk industry for days together. This is a topic close to both our hearts, but I think let's not overwhelm everyone. So yeah, I'm looking forward to connecting with all of you, and I'm looking forward to watching this whole
Yes.
series. Signing up for it. It's like going to
Absolutely.
be so exciting. All the people and the recipes. Yeah, thanks so much for inviting me, Achyuthan. So good to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it uplifting, empowering, inspiring, and useful. I hope you're going to go back home and try making some of these two changes, like Susmitha said. Do it for a month, do it for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Set a time frame, do it 100%, and watch the magic happen. It truly does. I hope. And if you have any questions for Susmitha, you can put it in the comments below this video, and we'll be happy to reach out to her and get the answers for you. If you'd like to share some of your experiences after going vegan or while going vegan, or any questions about what is all this about, then feel free to put it in the comments below, and we'll be happy to help. And we'd love to hear about your experiences. And I'm Dr. Achyuthan Eswar, and I'm the co-founder of nutritionscience.in and sampurnahara.com. At nutritionscience.in, we have a wide range of online courses, from baking and pizza making in North Indian, South Indian. There's disease prevention, disease reversal. So if you'd like to learn about any of this, you can check it out there. The link is once again in the description of this video. And on sampurnahara.com, eating healthy has been made easy. You can simply order sweets and snacks and cookies and cakes and breads and spreads and pizzas and meal plans that can help you stay healthy while eating delicious food every day. You can even get on one of the disease reversal programs if you have a disease and you're looking to reverse it to whatever extent is possible. And all of these links for Susmitha's websites and all of ours are in the description of this video. So do check them out. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great day today. And I look forward to meeting you again tomorrow. Be blessed.